In Halloween Part 2, we get to see the sheriff weep over his daughter. She's being carried out of the house. The story is continuing. In Scream, it's all about Sydney getting through her mom's death. Even though we haven't seen it, her mom is dead, and the entire story is built around Sydney's mom's death. If you take Scream, cut out all the satire, cut off all of the particular slasher adrenaline scenes, what you get is a clear character study of Sydney going through the aftermath of her mom's death. The environment she's in is built around the consequences of her mom's death. Not just her mom died and that's an excuse. Everything is about her mom's death. When you see Sydney right at the end, see Dewey and see Gail and see her interactions with Gail and with Dewey and with everyone, you see archetypes. You see her dad being lovable and hi dad, what's up? But she doesn't really go into any deep personal connections with her dad or with Dewey, but with Monica, Monica is blaming her, and Sydney is looking at Gail. Gail played Monica in Friends, by the way. Who cares? Sydney is looking at Gail as a sort of motherly figure. I know. Freudian nonsense. But I'm actually talking about the visual narrative of the story. Sydney and Monica, and I keep using that name, I'm sorry. Let's just call her Monica, not Gail, just because I cannot help myself. I'm sorry. Sydney and Gail. Sydney looks at Gail and talks to her on a personal level. Everyone else she talks to like a random friend. When she's talking to her boyfriend, she's struggling with her intimacy issues. She's not really taking him seriously. And as she goes through stuff, you see her make stupid decisions when it comes to her boyfriend. She doesn't treat her relationship like an adult. On a one-on-one, I am taking my life seriously type deal. When she's talking to Gail, she can respect Gail because Gail is actually calling her out on her bullshit. As the story progresses, we see Sydney mess up her relationship, not because she has some sort of deep personal emotional attachment to her boyfriend and feels like she really needs to satisfy him or satisfy herself. She just does it because she thinks, I've been behaving like a bad person towards my boyfriend. I'm not that kind of a bitch. Blah, blah, blah. She just jumps right into it. With Gail, however, everything is personal. Everything is visceral. You call my mom a slut? Fuck you, bitch. Let me slap you. Every single thing. And Sydney is behaving like a child, and Gail is the adult in the movie. Gail might be cartoonish outside of her relationship with Sydney, but when it comes to the substance of it all, Sydney sent a guy to the death chair, the lethal injections type thing. And ever since that first movie, Sydney hasn't really been treating Cotton with enough respect. Maybe towards the end of the second one, but who cares? There is a reason why so many teen pop movies, pop series as well, include the death of a parent in the history of your lead character. Elena's parents from The Vampire Diaries died, and it was a horrible thing, but we didn't see the deaths. We saw the aftermath. We saw everything in her environment being affected by those deaths. We didn't really get to know her parents during the last 7 years of The Vampire Diaries, but their deaths are significant. In Superman's mythology, his parents are dead. He gets new parents, and it goes right back to Jonathan Kent, Pa Kent dying. There's a reason for this. It's because we all know what a relationship a parent is, and we don't need it explained to us that someone was significant. When you're going with some guy whose wife died years ago, you have to establish the fact that he was married and whatever. When you're going with some guy's sibling died, you have to explain that relationship. The parental relationship is an easy and cheap way to start off your world, but it's useful. Whether it's cheap or not, it's useful because you can immediately design an emotional environment around that. That is the type of story we like to watch. we like having meaning behind the things that we watch. We like having meaning behind the story that we watch, so we can get our attentions captured, so that the movie can feed us those fun slasher gutting scenes. It's not like a buddy cop movie where everything's fun and then you see someone dying and that's fun. No. It's not that easy to take something that's lighthearted like a cop movie and add violence and gore in that. We have a certain expectation of death meaning something in horror movies because it is death. It may be fun death, but it's death nonetheless. Once you have a serious environment, emotions reinforce your experience. When you have comedy, it's the best comedy is comedy with serious actors. You need a certain specific bass tone for you to go and push the fun stuff. If you have only fun stuff, some of the fun stuff will not mean as much. You need victimology, and you need to build your world around it. This is everything that feeds a Final Destination movie. This is everything that feeds a single white female getting stalked by a killer who kills her friends type thing. It's important, is what I'm saying. Victimology is at the core of every single good horror movie, whether it's about death or fear of death. It's victimology that needs to be in your brain as you're building the world around your character.